I wasn't supposed to be home early. She didn't expect me, but as I stepped inside, the air felt wrong, heavy with a scent that wasn't mine. Then I heard it: laughter. A man's voice. My stomach twisted. I already knew, but I still walked toward the bedroom, each step dragging me closer to a truth I wasn't ready to face. And when I opened the door, she smirked. I used to believe in the kind of love that felt like home, safe, familiar, unshakable. That's what I thought I had with Olivia. 5 years together, countless memories, and a promise that we were each other's forever. Mornings with her were my favorite. The quiet hum of the world waking up, the scent of hazelnut coffee filling the kitchen, the way she'd steal a sip from my cup even though she had her own. It was a routine that felt like certainty, like something I could always count on. That morning was no different, or so I thought. Olivia stood by the counter, her dark hair still damp from the shower, scrolling through her phone with a smirk that didn't belong to me. I watched as she tapped out a reply, her fingers moving quickly before she set the phone down, her expression shifting to something unreadable. "Who's that?" I asked casually, taking a bite of my toast. She barely glanced up. "Just work stuff." A simple answer. Too simple. Something in my gut twisted, but I ignored it. That was my first mistake. And the last time I'd ever feel safe in our love. It started small. The kind of things you notice but try to push aside. A shift in her schedule, late nights at the office, unanswered texts, weekend plans suddenly changing. Excuses that felt rehearsed, a little too smooth. I told myself I was imagining things, that I was being insecure. Olivia had never given me a reason to doubt her before. But doubt has a way of creeping in, like water seeping into cracks, slow at first, then all at once. It was in the little details. The way she turned her phone face down whenever I walked into the room. The way she started showering as soon as she got home, her perfume still lingering on her skin, like she was washing away traces of somewhere she wasn't supposed to be. One night, I saw her phone light up on the nightstand while she was in the shower. Jason. A name I'd never heard before. I felt my stomach tighten. My hands clenched into fists as I stared at the screen, debating whether to look. A single tap and I'd have answers. But before I could move, the phone darkened. The moment passed, leaving only a gnawing suspicion in its wake. I tried to ignore it. Until the night everything unraveled. I wasn't supposed to be home early. Olivia thought I'd be out with the guys. But plans changed and I decided to surprise her. I should have known better. The moment I stepped into our apartment, something felt off. The usual warmth was missing. The lights were dim, the air thick with a scent that wasn't mine, something musky, foreign. Then I heard it. Laughter. A man's voice. Deep. Familiar in a way that made my skin crawl. My stomach lurched. Every instinct screamed at me to stop, to turn around, to leave before I saw something I couldn't unsee. But my body moved on its own, dragging me forward step by agonizing step, toward the bedroom I didn't want to see. I already knew. But I opened the door anyway. There she was. Tangled in our sheets with him. Jason. She didn't scream. She didn't scramble to cover herself. She just lay there, stretching like a cat in the sunlight, her lips curling into a slow, lazy smirk. Like this was nothing. Like I was nothing. I stood frozen, my whole world shattering around me. And she smirked. "I was going to tell you," she said, voice dripping with boredom. "But honestly, it's better this way." She sat up completely unashamed, brushing a strand of hair behind her ear. "I need a real man, not some nice guy who thinks love is enough." The words hit harder than any punch. But what broke me completely was the way Jason laughed. Not awkwardly. Not guiltily. mockingly. Like I was some pathetic joke. The fool who never saw it coming. I could feel the blood rushing in my ears, my pulse hammering so hard it hurt. Rage boiled beneath my skin, every muscle in my body demanding that I do something, scream, break something, fight. And then Olivia delivered the final blow. "You should leave," she sighed, tossing a glance at Jason. We were just about to go for round 2. Something inside me snapped. Not in the way they wanted. Not in anger, not in heartbreak. In silence. In clarity. In cold, calculated determination. I wouldn't scream. I wouldn't cry. I would make her regret this. I didn't lash out. I didn't cry. I just left. Silent. Controlled. And that's what scared her. She wanted an explosion, a dramatic fight that would make her feel powerful. She wanted to see me unravel. But I gave her nothing. Instead, I started planning. The first step was understanding the battlefield. I needed to see where I stood, so I reached out to our friends, the people I thought would have my back. That was my second betrayal. One by one they made excuses for her. "Maybe you should just move on. She wasn't happy, man. You're being dramatic." Like the 5 years I had given her were nothing but a footnote in her story. Like I had imagined the night spent planning our future, the whispered promises that were meant to last. They didn't care about the love I had given. They sided with her. And that's when I stopped being the victim. I wasn't going to beg for sympathy. I wasn't going to convince anyone of my pain. I was going to make them regret ever underestimating me. Olivia prided herself on her job. It wasn't just a paycheck. It was her identity. She worked in finance, always bragging about how essential she was to the company. What she didn't realize was that I still had access to her work email. She had once asked me to help with a presentation, and never changed her password. A quick search revealed something interesting: discrepancies in financial reports. I didn't have to fabricate anything. The evidence was already there. So I scheduled a lunch with Robert, her boss. He had always liked me, always told Olivia she was lucky to have someone so steady. Over coffee, I handed him a neatly compiled folder. I didn't add a single word of commentary. The numbers spoke for themselves. A week later, Olivia was fired. Jason was a personal trainer, barely making ends meet. He had always been flashy, always flexing in more ways than one. But what Olivia never told him, what she never even admitted to herself, was that she was funding his lifestyle. The apartment. My name was still on the lease. The credit card she used attached to my accounts. So I drained them every last cent. I walked into the bank, closed the joint account and transferred what was mine. When I left, Olivia had nothing. No job. No home. No safety net. The eviction notice came fast. She thought she had me fooled. She thought she was invincible. But secrets don't stay buried when someone is willing to dig. Screenshots of her messages. Voicemails laced with deception. The truth laid bare for everyone to see. By the time I was done, Olivia wasn't just ruined. She was forgotten. Olivia thought she had one. That I'd slink away while she played house with Jason. That I'd be too broken to fight back. But she forgot one thing: she had secrets. And I knew them all. It started with small, calculated moves. She had once asked me to help with a work presentation, giving me access to her email. She never changed her password. A quick search revealed something interesting: discrepancies in financial reports. She had been fudging numbers. Her boss, Robert, had always liked me. So I scheduled a lunch with him over coffee. I slid a neatly compiled folder across the table. I didn't have to lie. The documents spoke for themselves. A week later, Olivia was fired. That was step 1. Step 2: Jason. He was a personal trainer, barely making ends meet. Olivia had been funding his lifestyle: the apartment, the expensive trips, the flashy gifts with my money. Money I had stupidly pulled into our joint account. So I drained it. Every last cent. The eviction notice came fast. Jason, ever the opportunist, wouldn't stick around when there was nothing left to take. Step 3: expose her. Olivia thrived on admiration. She lived for being envied. So I made sure everyone saw her for who she really was. Screenshots of her messages. Voicemails laced with lies. The truth laid bare for everyone to see. By the time I was done, Olivia had lost everything. The last time I saw Olivia, she was a shadow of the woman who had smirked at me that night. She found me outside a cafe, desperate and furious. "You ruined my life." She spat, her once perfect facade cracking. I took a sip of my coffee, meeting her gaze with the same cold detachment she had once shown me. "No, Olivia. You ruined your life. I just made sure everyone saw it." She opened her mouth to argue, but there was nothing left to say. She had lost and I had won. I walked away that day, feeling something I hadn't in a long time. Peace. Betrayal had nearly broken me. But in the end, it had made me stronger. Wiser. Unshakable. And Olivia. Last I heard, Jason left her the moment the money ran out. Poetic justice and me. I was finally free. And damn it, felt good.